Good evening and welcome to the CCMFans Report. I'm Arthur Fishel.
And I'm Martha Fishel.
Our apologies for the delay in this week's broadcast. The production schedule was unfortunately compromised by a significant civil engineering project in the yard over the long weekend. I have spent the better part of 3 days levelling a mountain of dirt.
It was a mound of dirt, Arthur. A small pile of topsoil.
It was a Mound-tain of dirt, Martha. The scale was alpine. Anyway, tonight, the men's team travelled to Auckland and engaged in what can only be described as anti-football.
While the women's team stayed home, dominated the game, and forgot to win. It has been a confusing weekend, Arthur.
Indeed. Let us look at the evidence. Right. Men's football, round 14. A trip across the ditch to face league leaders, Auckland FC. And if you enjoy statistics, look away now. We did not play a football match. We participated in a siege.
We went to New Zealand, let them have the ball for 90 minutes, and then left with a point. It was not pretty, Arthur. It was magnificent.
It was statistically offensive. 32% possession, 6 shots to their 21. Passing accuracy of 66%. We treated the ball like a hot potato.
And yet, the scoreboard says 2-2. They can keep the possession stats. I will take the point.
Auckland scored early, of course. 12 minutes in, Randall walks through a defence that appeared to be socially distancing. 1-0.
But then, just before half-time, Di Pizio remembered he is good at football and set up Ollie Laval. Bang. 1-1. The forum went from sack the board to build the statue in 30 seconds.
The second half was less a contest and more a training drill for Andrew Redmayne. He finished with 8 stops for the match, the only thing standing between us and a cricket score. Auckland eventually scored again in the 58th minute.
And then the chaos started. We hung on, we scraped, we defended with vibes and panic.
And in the 89th minute, their goalkeeper initiated a self-destruct sequence. A routine catch turned into a game of volleyball, and Ollie Laval, who was lurking with criminal intent, poked it home. 2-2.
The silence in that stadium was deafening. You could hear the entitlement leaving their bodies.
We jagged a draw. It was grand larceny on an international scale.
Larceny? It was a tactical masterclass, Arthur. Lull them into a false sense of security by being terrible, then strike when they blink.
Right, moving on. From Auckland to Gosford, the women's team hosted Western Sydney Wanderers, a double-header atmosphere theoretically.
Theoretically is the word. The performance on the pitch was what really left us feeling drained.
We played the team at the bottom of the ladder and controlled 62% of the possession. We completed over 500 passes. We were clinical with the ball, but we could not find the finish.
We dominated the ball and yet lost 2-1. Possession without penetration is a very frustrating way to spend a Saturday.
It was a case of pass, concede. Holly Caspers scored for them against the run of play. We did equalise quickly through Rasmussen, which gave us hope.
We thought the momentum was ours, but Caspers scored again in the 57th minute. From there, it was an exercise in frustration. Farrow hit the bar in the 89th, but the net remained untouched.
A flat result, though we should mention Sid Mariner.
The only soul holding down the fort in Bay 16 for the full 90 minutes.
A solitary commitment. One admires the stamina required to lead the charge when the only thing echoing back is the sound of one's own optimism.
He stayed until the end, which is more than can be said for our clinical finishing.
Quite. A more reliable presence than the back four, at any rate. In other news, former chairman Richard Peel has taken to his keyboard to offer some parting observations. To help us understand why a former owner is lecturing fans on a Facebook post, we are joined by Gary from marketing.
Great to be here, Arthur. And just quickly, I've pivoted. It's now Global Director of Sentiment Correction and Fiscal Gratitude, but marketing is a fun legacy term.
Always lovely to see you, Gary. You look very tanned.
Thanks, Martha. I've been in a deep dive workshop on monetizing hindsight. But let's talk about Richard. What you're calling a lecture is actually a masterclass in legacy accountability.
Legacy accountability? He told the fans, Mike, Damon and myself have put in tens of millions of dollars, yet certain people still take potshots. You want a club? Support it. It sounded less like accountability and more like a guilt trip.
See, you're hearing guilt, Arthur. I'm hearing investment visibility. Richard is simply pivoting the narrative from customer satisfaction to customer obligation. It's bold. He's saying, we built the stadium, now you owe us the applause.
It does feel a bit like a gym owner who builds a flashy studio, and when the classes are empty, he stands out the front calling the locals lazy.
Exactly. And that is a powerful retention strategy, Martha. By calling the customers fair weather supporters, he's not insulting them. He's creating an exclusive tier of heavy weather stakeholders. He's challenging them to unlock the stormy weather achievement badge.
He also said, "Put your feet where your mouth is," a phrase that is anatomically difficult and metaphorically confused.
I love that line. Ideally, we'd workshop it to align your footfall with your verbal output, but the sentiment is pure disruption. He's putting his foot in his mouth to show us it can be done. It's leadership by example.
It is an exit interview where he insults the staff on the way out.
It's not an exit, Arthur. It's a retroactive loyalty audit. And frankly, those pot shots he mentioned, that's just negative brand synergy. Richard is right to filter that noise out of the ecosystem.
Thank you, Gary.
Anytime. Remember, guilt is just love with an invoice attached.
Which brings us to the Mound Report, the barometer of our emotional stability. To date, we have mooned 3 teams, endured 7 lunar eclipses, and with the result in Auckland, we moved to 4 half-moons.
7 eclipses is a lot of time spent in the dark, Arthur. It explains why everyone on the forum is so grumpy.
The stats do not lie, Martha. However, a 2-all draw away to the league leaders is a textbook half-moon, a celestial shrug that, given the circumstances, feels suspiciously like a victory.
I'll take the half-moon over another eclipse any day. It's the get-out-of-jail-free card of the solar system.
A look at the ladders. Despite the point in Auckland, the men have returned to the literal foundation of the league.
It is a polite way of saying we are the anchor holding the whole table in place.
Following Western Sydney's result against Perth, we are now occupying 12th position. The women's ladder is a mathematical nightmare. A single loss has dropped us to 5th, but only 2 points separate second place from 9th. Looking ahead, the women travel to Brisbane this Friday, the 30th of January, for an 8 p.m. kickoff. The men return home on Sunday, the 1st of February, at 5 p.m. against Melbourne Victory.
We will need actual goals for that one, Arthur. We are becoming serial offenders with this grand larceny, but eventually we will need to score on purpose.
Right, we will have to leave that there.
Thanks for tuning in. Check the forum for the full meltdown. And if you were at the stadium, thanks for holding down the fort.
Until next time, this has been the CCM Fans Report.